Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the Fans Forum. Thank you everyone for coming out. We really appreciate it. So over the next hour or so, we're going to do the best to get around as many of you as we can, answer a few questions and give you a few updates on the club. Unfortunately, Scott can't be with us this evening. Good start. Unfortunately, Scott can't be with us this evening, but I will pass over to our owner who will give you a little bit more information on that. And afterwards, I'll go around, put your hands up. We'll try and get through as many as we can. We are joined by our owner, our CEO and our Director of Football this evening. So, yeah, get as many questions over as you can. Thanks, everyone.
Hello. First and foremost, everybody, thank you for coming to the first Fans Forum under new ownership. Look forward to answering all your questions. And please God, looking forward to sharing many memories with you moving forward. Unfortunately, Scott can't be with us tonight. It was my call and the best interest of the club that we focus on Saturday's game. Every single game from now on is a cup final. So we look forward to answering any questions you have regarding the football department, myself and Erdem. And looking forward to hearing what you have to say. And please God, this is a constructive forum and looking forward to it, guys.
Thank you, Raphael. So who would like to kick us off? Put your hand in the air and we'll make our way around. We'll go to this gentleman as he was first.
Hi, thanks very much. First of all, I think we have to say very well done for the most phenomenal transfer window I think most of us have ever seen. To bring 13 players in, most of whom are a step up on who we had before, does you guys great testament. You know, I think you deserve great credit for that, so well done for that. Just two quick questions though. The last owners were accused of failing to comply with I think it was EFL Regulation 11 on safeguarding. And it's just a quick question to say, are we compliant on safeguarding now? And secondly, given the great transfer window we had, are we compliant on financial fair play?
So I'll pass that question over to Tom, but the answer to both your questions are yes. It is actually the SCMP, which is the salary cost management plan. But Tom, do you want to just go ahead and just give an overview?
Yeah, so just following on from Raph, to confirm on both, we're compliant. We're continuing to work with the EFL from a safeguarding perspective to improve. As a club and under Raf's tenure, we've taken some steps to improve this season already. We've now got a full-time HR and safeguarding manager who's with us, we're making steps to improve with that every day. Obviously, then as Raph said, with regards to SCMP, it's essentially a salary cap where in League Two you can spend 50% of your turnover, and then as I say, we're compliant with both. So hopefully that answers your question.
Great, thank you. Come to this gentleman here.
Yeah, I wanted to ask 3 questions about the website, which I think 3 things have dropped off the website this season. Firstly, on the player pages, there's no biography of any of the players. So, there's no biography for any of the players on the website. More importantly, I believe under the shirt sponsorship package, the shirt sponsor is supposed to be on the website, but it's not. Secondly, new player interviews. The last one on the website, I believe, is Bradley Ibrahim. Mm-hmm. There's no player interviews on the website, or they just seem to go on Twitter, and that's it. But a lot of us don't use Twitter. And thirdly, I don't know if you know, I sadly checked this, but we're the only club in the top 4 leagues that doesn't do match reports on a website. And there's only one in the National League that doesn't. Why don't we do match reports? And is that something we can sort out?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you might have to remind me of some of the questions you said as I go. I think as we've spoken about before, the website we use is from the EFL. So the data, certainly from the first team profile side, for example, was dragged from Opta Sports. It's a frequent conversation that myself and the media manager have with regards to keeping that updated. The really boring answer is that sometimes we suffer from our manual edits being overrode by those Opta stats. It's something that we're working with the EFL on. So I hear your point on that. With regards to player sponsors, again, James might be able to clarify, as of these last couple of weeks, since the transfer windows come in, those have been added. So if there's still any issues there, obviously feel free to reach out to us, because as I say, we updated those.
They weren't there a couple of days ago. I can
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we can have a conversation afterwards. And sorry, remind me of your.
Yeah, the new player interviews are
yeah.
not. They used to be on the YouTube channel, and
Yeah.
they used to be on the website with a link to the YouTube. Now they're not there at all.
Yeah. So similarly, that's for example, where you're referencing Bradley, that would have just been that's a tagging circumstance. So player interviews can be tagged as such, player interviews, and that will appear under the player interview tab. What we tend to do now to keep news all in one space is just tag them as club news. So it would have been on the feed somewhere on the website. It may not have been under the player interviews, but interviews with the links to YouTube on the website are published upon player signings, for example.
Yeah, I couldn't find any. So, but
Okay.
and we certainly don't do match reports, whereas everyone else does. The last one I found was some friendly in July.
Yeah, and that'll be similar in that that's also a tagging protocol. Fair point about publishing them more frequently. We've got a one-man band media team, obviously supplemented with externals such as Matt in the room. I think we have a really good output for what we've got. Take it on board as feedback going forward, and we'll look at it.
Thank you. Next question.
Thanks. On a broader theme, could you tell us what the 3 to 5 year vision is, and also your strategy for achieving that vision?
I think I mentioned this in one of my earlier interviews, but of course, first and foremost, it's financial discipline and financial sustainability. So we want to become a sustainable club. Of course, we want to go up the leagues, and that is our goal. That is our 3 to 5 year plan. I think every owner in the FA will tell you that. But more importantly than that, we want a great game day experience. We want to upgrade our infrastructure. We want to upgrade our stadium. We want to upgrade our training ground and our training facilities, which I'm sure we'll get into after. I think, like I mentioned before, our training ground is of utmost importance to us because that's where we spend 80% of our time. And I believe that if we do have a good training ground, we can attract better players and we can get better results ultimately. So to create a sustainable club, upgrade the infrastructure, and before both of those is to do the basics right, as I said from the beginning. And this was always going to be a transition year. We can see that. So slowly but surely we'll get there. And fingers crossed we'll have a successful season, hold it out this year, and next year go for a promotion push. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, hi, just going on from that, under the previous ownership, the Preston said that they were in negotiations to try and buy the ground off the council. Is that still part of the strategy you were just talking about?
Yes, it is. We've got our planning team and our architects working on that. When it comes to councils and stakeholders, they do get drawn out quite a lot. But ultimately, yes, we will keep you updated on that. I think Tom, in the next 6 months, will give you a full update on where we are with the council and the community. But yes, ultimately, that is our goal, to own or partner with the local community, to have a partnership in either owning the club or having a sort of dual partnership with the club, with the stadium. So yeah.
And one more on from that, as a season ticket holder in the East Stand, is there anything in the short term to upgrade that facility?
What would you like to see?
A brand new stand.
No, of course. Yes, there is, again, when it comes to planning, and that's why expertise is development and infrastructure and real estate. Yes, it is obviously a temporary structure. So our plans in the long term, yes, is to rebuild that stand.
Thank you.
No trouble. I'll come to the back. Once you're asking a question, if you can just stand up just so we can kind of see towards the front, that'd be great. Thank you.
Just quickly, sorry, before we go to that next one, just building on what Raph was saying, I think what can be really exciting for the fans is that since Raph's been in at the club, we've spent a significant amount of money on the infrastructure here at the stadium. Granted, maybe not in the sense of ripping down the East Stand, rebuilding things, but in the time I've been here, it's the most amount of infrastructure improvement certainly I've seen. And I think if we're doing all of that before we even own the ground, I'm certainly really excited for once we are in a position, what that will bring. I think that fans will be really excited with the future and what we've got building. Just want to build on that from what you were saying.
Hi, Raph. As previously mentioned, obviously you invest a lot of money yourself personally in the January window, and we all thank you for that. What is your perception of the club's revenue driving strategy? We've obviously got a new away fan zone, we've got a new club shop. What's your perception of how well the club drive revenue?
I think the guys have done a fantastic job over the last year. I think the away fan zone is proving to be a success, looking at the numbers. And I also think James and the partnerships team are doing a good job with sponsorships. That's a whole nother discussion because we want to be progressive in the way we work with partnerships and sponsorships. So yes, very happy with what they're doing, but we want to be one step ahead and do more with partnerships. We want to get a stadium sponsor. We want to get a premium front of shirt sponsor and side sponsor. So actively working on it. We've got active conversations in place, and fingers crossed there's some surprises coming towards the end of the season.
And aside from commercial, what's being done to drive more people through the gate? So as an example, also outside of the gate, every Sunday morning, there's hundreds of kids in the 3G pitch over here, but the club haven't got a presence, but there's a T-bar there. Can we not have a T-bar there that we're making money out of? In the toilets, there's posters from 2018, sponsor opportunities that are 8 years old. You've got clubs like Bromley that are in hundreds of schools. You've got Macclesfield that are a 7-day operation. Stockport that have got their own academy. Obviously, we're really grateful for you investing probably nearly £1 million in January, but to be self-sustainable, we need to drive more revenue. And I just don't really see how we're doing that. We've done the fan zone in the club shop and the commercial as well, but what are we doing with the things that are on our doorstep that we could do better at?
I think you're 100% right, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm excited to be the temporary owner of this football club. Is there's a lot of opportunity, and we need to exploit that opportunity. Ultimately, it's football first at the moment, and our priorities are to get out of where we are at the moment and make sure we're safe for next season. So yes, we will be working on everything you've said. But for myself right now, our priority is to make sure that we're focused on our football and ultimately winning games on the pitch. Because yes, we can upgrade the stadium, yes, we can do all this sort of stuff, but ultimately, if we're not winning games on Saturdays and Tuesdays, I don't think anyone here is going to be happy, right? So priority is to, let's get some wins on the board, but yes, things like what you're saying, fully focused on and looking forward to driving revenue through stuff like you're talking about.
And talking about on the pitch, in October in the Q&A, you said we had good people in the building, and then in 2 or 3 months we'll be in a better position. Since then, we've got 17 points from 18 games. What do you think has gone wrong?
What do I think has gone wrong? I will pass you to Erdem in a minute for those sort of questions. Listen, I think I don't think our recruitment in summer was great. I think we were going through a transition process, so we couldn't use all our resources, and I just don't think that the team gelled as well as we'd liked it to have gelled. I think we've been unlucky. I think if we look at our XG, we're I think 10th or 11th XG, hence bringing in Orsi. Our defence, I think we're 18th or 19th XG against in defence, hence bolstering up the defence with the Cell and the likes of AK. So, in life, I wish I had a crystal ball. And I wish I could tell you, how things would play out. Things never play out how you think they do. So we can only react to that. I just think the team didn't gel, but I'll pass you over to Erdem and see what he has to say.
Regarding the past, I don't think we should really concentrate on what went wrong. It's about the 15 games we have ahead of us. It's the big 15 games for the future of this football club. So we've got to be united on the pitch, united off the pitch, and give everything we can. The owner's been very generous with the window. I think we've significantly improved in all areas. And we just now, as a football club, we all have to be very united to help the team, help the manager, and help the players get the best possible results, because this is possibly one of the most important 15 games that the club is going to face in its EFL chapter. So that has to be the focus. And I think if we keep looking at the past and what went wrong, that's not going to be beneficial for what we need to do now to deliver results on the pitch.
Hi, you talked earlier about doing the basics right. To me, the basics is a lot of fan engagement. But I've not received an e-newsletter or anything from Crawley Town since the end of last season asking me to buy a season ticket. So how are we going to reach those people if we're not even communicating with an email once a month or once a week? We could just put anything in a newsletter, what's been going on the pitch, what we've had coming in with players, etc., what's going on in the foundation. If we look at a Bromley newsletter, for example, I think I signed up for one thing. And then this newsletter is fantastic with what they're doing, or what we're doing in Reds, what we're doing in the foundation. So I just wonder why that stopped, and could that not be started up again?
Yeah, I think to answer your question, it's something we used to do. The engagement rate historically was fairly poor. So we made the decision to try and utilise some other avenues. Obviously, as Sam mentioned before, we're really utilising the Community Foundation. To a certain extent, they're our eyes and ears out in and around Crawley. They work with everyone from ages 5 to 98. I think they had a £4.5 million social value to the town last year. So that's one avenue that we're trying to utilise again in terms of being out there in schools. 13 schools in Crawley they're engaged with.
That's really good you say that, Tom, but none of the fans know that because you're not telling us. So you're telling us tonight, but if we had a newsletter with all that information in there, that could be really good for the foundation, and you might get more people coming along to things that the foundation run.
Sure.
And also things like away tickets. If you've got an email, like I only saw today that MK tickets were available, and that's on Tuesday because it was on Twitter, and I don't usually go on Twitter now. But if you've got an email newsletter coming out, that goes out to everybody. They might think, oh, I might come along to that away game. I can just get my tickets through the email.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think probably the theme of this evening, happy to take the feedback on board. Similar to, as I said earlier, our communications band's a one-man band. He also helps me from an operational perspective. So, as I say, it's something we're more than happy to take on board and look at going forward.
Thank you. Anyone else got a question?
Yeah, it's so minor.
Go on.
I much don't want to say. Hello, me again. Talking about publicising the club and its professionalism, and it is a professional football club. There's a lot of good energy has gone into what you're trying to do for this season, and I appreciate that fully. But the simplest thing is like the sign outside on the roundabout for the fixtures, and they're so out of date. It's embarrassing. We had the match on Tuesday night, and I don't think the name of the opposition went up until the Tuesday. I know we had a game on Saturday, but it's happened like previous weeks. Things don't change as quickly as they should, and it's the devil is always in the detail, and it's just those little things. I know there are many things that you're obviously dealing with, but it's the little details that mean an awful lot, and it's just something that I just want to draw your attention to. The other thing that while I'm on my feet is something, again, it's an irritation more than something serious, but in the East Stand, of which there are many of us, who do, and if you've ever experienced a match in the East Stand, you know what I'm talking about, because it isn't always pretty and it isn't always comfortable. But the broadcasting system doesn't reach the East Stand. And so when things are coming over the broadcasting system, substitutions, something that's going on, an event that's going on during the match, something that's going on before the game, we can't understand what's being said because the broadcasting system doesn't reach us in the East Stand. Sorry that it's minor stuff, but it's part and part of the day's experience.
Of course, I think starting with your PA question, that's something that's on our list for summer improvements.
Okay.
We are aware of that. We're working on that. We're drawing up some proposals. So hopefully, when we can, which probably in all honesty at this stage will be in the off season, just from the time frames, we'll be looking at that. And then there was the fixture board, the first part. Fixture board, again, I could probably sit here and run various lines, completely heard and understood. We've looked at some alternatives in terms of sort of digital advertising boards similar to one. I know people mention Three Bridges quite a lot. The difficulty we have when we've explored it as a club, there's actually no power over that side where the fixture board is currently. When we investigated it, again, the long short answer, it would involve pretty much ripping up quite a lot of Winfield Way, diverting bus routes. Long story short, not massively viable for us. However, completely understand with regards to changing the magnets.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll come down the front. I'm just going to go to the chat first.
Hiya. Firstly, welcome back, Erdem. No one said it, so I thought I would.
Thank you.
How are you finding your time back?
Yeah, I'm enjoying
it.
Yeah.
And then this is more of a question for Tom and maybe a little bit for Raph, but I'll bring it back. So you touched on the club like going into schools and things, and you guys did a thing years ago where you were going into schools giving out kits and things for like the next generation. Is that being looked at all for next season or anything like that at all?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking for initiatives to grow the fan base. I think probably testament to that scheme was some of the increased numbers we're seeing here, certainly in those junior ages. Shirts for Schools, I think the project you're referring to, that was really well received. It relied heavily on the sponsor at the time. People's Pension was obviously run through them. Are we looking at doing something carbon copy to that? We're looking at some different options essentially. As I said to Carol, you know, the foundation, they're our eyes and our ears. They're the ones that are out and about. They're, you know, what the juniors, for example, will see of the club in terms of schools. So, yeah, we work really closely with Darren Ford, the head of foundation, and the rest of the community team to make sure that our product is being pushed. Is that maybe in the sense of tangible items like shirts? Not at the moment, but we're happy to explore some different options because, as you say, the impact was really great.
Yeah. Or even things like the Junior Reds, like that membership that was in when Erdem was around as well. Like,
yeah, I think similar. Yeah, but one of my first jobs was starting up Junior Reds back in 2016. I think, or not starting up, bringing it back. Again, back at then, the engagement wasn't massively brilliant. Obviously, the fan base has changed quite a lot since then. So, you know, who knows? Might be worth giving it a bit of a relaunch. You know, we're conscious that everything here has sort of got a not demand-led process, so to speak, but if we're going to put the work into it, we want to make sure that we're going to be getting some tangible results. And obviously, with nowadays, we're able to measure uptake on pretty much everything across a match day during the week. So, yeah, we're going to try and be clever with what we can do there, essentially.
yeah. And then we did this years ago, and I know that the cost of football is going up, so some people are struggling to get 2 games. We're trying to make this place a fortress for the next 15 games. Is there going to be like a pay that you can, or pay a certain amount for a ticket to get the numbers up, to try and get the Broadfield a bit like buzzing again? Because the atmosphere has been flat the last few games, let's be fair.
Yeah, again, it's something we speak about regularly. As you mentioned in the past, we've done pay what you can, we've done for the £2 at £2 games. Again, probably without trying to give you a similar answer, we're trying to be conscious of, you know, we now know that we could do discounted football and that people are going to come for that one game, and not everyone, but, you know, spend £1, £2 on a pay what you can game, for example. They'll come, it will be sold out. The next couple of games might have a slightly bigger intake, but actually, does it make a mass difference at the end of the season? Not really. I get what you're saying about the atmosphere side. Again, I'd be interested to know what people think. I'd actually argue that on those games where you have got a lot of people coming for the first time, they're there enjoying it for what it is. So actually, sometimes I don't think that maybe helps the experience. As I say, we'll look at some different concepts, see what works, see what doesn't, and yeah, if we have some news, we'll obviously go from there.
Yeah, and then one for you, Raph. I mean, thanks for coming in and taking over. I think we all wanted a change in the ownership, and you guys have come in and spent the money. But it's more to do with like the travel side. So Alan and Pat, they do GH coaches, and it's the only like official linked kind of like transport side to go to these away games. And under the previous ownership, they were saying or touted about putting some money towards some of the cost of the coach, like to kind of subsidise the cost on some things. But I know we don't ask for it, but is it something that's been considered?
It's definitely something we can look at. It's the first I've heard of it. So it's definitely something that we'll sit down as a group, and if that helps you out, and we'll definitely add it to our long list of improvements.
I think it's just because you see these like fans that come for the away games here, and if it's like a bigger crowd, you'll get more than one coach. And then Alan puts all his effort in to try and get people to go to these coaches, to go away to the games, and we're turning up in one coach, and sometimes none at all.
Yeah. No, I think first and foremost, You know, I love our fans. I love the fact that you guys travel to all the away games. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, we're crazy.
No, you're not crazy. I'm crazy. Trust me. But no, I hear you, and we'll do everything we can to make those journeys for you much better. So we'll definitely have that discussion internally.
Perfect.
Thank you. Next question. Anyone got a question? Or is these two chaps going to go first?
This one's probably for Erdem. It's just there's a few people, traditionalists, that like the Sussex Senior Cup, and obviously Brighton put their team into that, and it's the development squad. You know, we've got a bigger squad now. There's some young players that, you know, Fake Coty, for instance, people like that we'd like to see on the pitch. We could play all the games away, so you haven't got to open the stadium, and you're spreading the Crawley name around. So what are your thoughts on going into for that next year? Is there too big a cost implication, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a good idea because you get the young boys that get to play. I think it's something that can be considered next season because there are ideas to try and create another B team project. I think it's very important that you have that type of system because ultimately a part of self-sustainability is developing players. So that the club should really look at doing something like that, and it can be very beneficial and it'll suit with the policies that we want to bring in and trying to develop further assets going forward.
That's great. Thank you very much. Cheers.
One on the PA system. I noticed the last couple of games, the attendance hasn't been announced or the man of the match. And probably people here might not agree with me, but our team's announced to the crowd, but not the away side. It's a little bit, perhaps that should be done as well. You know, the away team. And I've also got a question for Ralph afterwards, but yeah, if you want to answer that.
You're not sat in the East End, are you, by any chance?
No. No.
So again, the second part, the away team's read out early. So as the teams come out for the warm-up, both teams are read out.
Okay. I don't get into the stadium then.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And then close to kick-off, the home team's read out because it's in tandem with the scoreboard.
Yeah.
And then the attendances, if they're not read out, we try to get them online. Appreciate it. We'll read them out and we'll put them online. Ideally in a match report.
Then I got.
Yeah, you talked about communications, and we've got that lovely scoreboard that sits in the corner of the field, and it plays lovely videos at the beginning, very loud. Is there any means of actually increasing the communication using that particular method, i.e. the list of players, the names of the players, and the substitutions going on mid-match, rather than just the time and the score?
Yes, so we're, I suppose, tying in with the East Stand. One of the things we're looking at doing is getting some screens mounted in the East Stand. So obviously appreciate at the minute you can't, if you're based in the East, you can't see the scoreboard. That's one of the ideas we've looked to basically just increase the coverage. I suppose your question is more so what we're actually putting on the stuff already. Yeah. Yes, we can, if that's of interest to people. We can put the graphics, we've got the graphics made, if they can go on the screen. Yeah, that's not a problem at all. We can certainly do that. Thank you.
Where is Reggie?
Reggie's here. How can I put this without crushing small people's dreams? Yeah.
Close your ears.
Yeah.
Because there was the competition, wasn't there, about the redesign? That's I don't know. And then we saw him once, I think, and that was it. The kids love Reggie.
Yes. As I said, I'm trying to think of a PG way of answering. Reggie is very much in the building. He sometimes needs some encouragement to come out. If anyone knows of anyone or any way to encourage him to come out more, please feel free to email me because it would be great to see him out more often.
Okay, where's the next question at?
I can have one. Yeah. Well, I've got a few from fans who couldn't make it.
You're fine.
Yeah. So,
go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could, please. If you could film. Sorry. If you could. It hasn't started yet. Erdem, you've been quite quiet, so I'm going to test you. One of the main questions, and it came from 3 or 4 fans who couldn't make it tonight, was what's happening with Dion Conroy.
So the manager's decision was to take him off the squad list and move the captaincy to Jay Williams. and we believe it's the right decision for the football club going forward.
Cool. And a sort of follow-up, can you provide any update on other players not listed on the EFL squad list? I can't remember who it is, but Danny Cashman certainly isn't. Is that injury?
So Danny Cashman's, I think, got another 6 to 8 week layoff. Reece Brown, he's not on the list either. If we did name a full 22-man squad, we are not going to have a space for a free agent possibly, which I think we suffered from in November, because then ideally he could have bought in Theo Vassell and he could have played in November. Because the squad list was full, we couldn't bring anyone in to help patch up in November or December. So consciously we thought, let's leave one empty, and then if we need to, it gives us that chance to utilise that option.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it earlier. Somebody asked, it was mentioned previously about possibly starting a reserve side. Is that something that's in the pipeline possibly?
Yeah, obviously all focus is on the next 15 games. Yeah. That's my only focus. That's my only thought process at the moment. But ideally, to create a reserve squad, it's a no-brainer, because developing assets and with the ever inflating football market, it's the best way to reach self-sustainability. It's the best models in the world of football today. So definitely it should be something that's considered.
Lovely, thank you. So somebody asked this, probably for Tom. Can the club start opening club shop for 30 minutes after home matches for merchandise and ticket sales for home and away games? I don't know of any other club in the EFL that doesn't open its club shop post matches. It seems ludicrous in this day and age, especially when so many people wait behind to greet their heroes as they come out.
Yeah, of course. Can certainly look at that. No problem.
Cool.
Look forward to seeing those people in there. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that generally, a lot of people talked about the sign outside. There's a few people asking questions about the finances. Kieran Maguire obviously tweeted today, finances from 24 to 25, the £10 million in debt. Can you clarify that situation?
Sure. Again, as mentioned before, there is no debt in the club. So KB Sports and Leisure now owns 100% of Crawley Town Football Club. That will be registered with Companies House. If not, I think that was done last week, but it will be updated in the next couple of weeks. So there is no debt in the club. And when we took over the club, we had a five-year runway. So we know the finances. Obviously, we know the losses, and as an owner, as a businessman, the whole plan is to work on those finances and get that number down to neutral and then into the green. If it was that easy, everyone would own a football club and every club would be making money, right?
Yeah.
So the majority of EFL football clubs, probably 80-90% of them, do lose money. So bring on the challenge. It's going to be an exciting challenge and looking forward to it.
Cool, excellent. And one more for you, Erdem. Ryan Loft, a few fans were saying, why wasn't he sent back to Cambridge? I know that's personal and sounds a bit nasty, but was that an option, or was there not an option in that deal to send him back to Cambridge?
I think we just have to focus that he's a member of the squad and he's a Crawley player now. So I think we just have to get behind Ryan Loft and embrace that he's one of us, and that's just the best way that we can answer that.
Brilliant, thank you, Ed. That's me.
Anyone's got a question? Yeah. You're popular.
On the players that weren't on the EFL list, Anthony Papadopoulos, Maidstone tweeted. It was Maidstone tweeted that they sent him back to us. Is he back with us, or what's the position of him?
Yeah, he's back with us. He's not on the squad list.
No.
He's probably going to go out on loan. But once again, we wanted to leave one space just in case for an emergency manoeuvre. That could be, if we need to, we have that option to utilise.
Yeah. And a question for Rafe. What's the position with the fan advisory board? You asked for people to apply for the positions a few months ago. There hasn't been an update since.
We pass you over to Tom.
Yeah, so over the course of the last couple of weeks, along with the FSA, the club have been interviewing potential candidates. We've now shortlisted a few of those in partnership with the FSA. Where we're at as of right now is that those various candidates are writing their personal statements. Once we've received the last few of them, they'll be published online, and then the voter will open and fans will be able to vote for their members. So there's the update for that one.
To be fair, Tom, we gave a deadline.
We did give a deadline. Uptake wasn't as big as we would have liked. So we've allowed a slightly enhanced deadline to hopefully allow for a few more people to come in.
They come to this gentleman here.
Hi, Erdem. Just a quick question. Keep going on about this one space. It's obviously something you guys are looking at. Are you guys looking quite seriously at finding, obviously, a free transfer if the right one comes along?
To be honest with you, we weren't actively looking for it. We just, because of what happened in November, December, we thought let's leave an option just in case. But yeah, we are ever active. We're a department of 4 or 5 people that are always looking for the best possible option. So we have to be active in trying to find solutions just in case there's an unexpected injury or something can change. Then we have to be open and active to give the club that option in what we're facing ahead.
Okay, next question. I'm going to go right to the back first. Certainly got my 10,000 steps in today.
I read in the paper today that Amrit Bansal McNulty is suing QPR and Crawley for 11.1 million for claims that he wasn't protected while John Yems was around for racism. Is that a concern to us? Are we insured against that sort of thing going wrong with us?
So that was, I think, around 3.5 years ago.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey.
But it's,
it just came up on my feed recently. I'm so sorry.
But no, it's an ongoing tribunal case at the moment. So
oh, right.
We can't talk much about it, but no, we're not worried about it. It shouldn't be a concern.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
I'll pass it straight to you.
Thanks.
No trouble.
Hi. Yes, just talking about Theo Vassell. I think he's made a big difference to the side since he's come into the club. What's the situation regarding his injury, please, if you know?
Not very good news, but I'll pass you over to Erdem.
Yeah, he's had his scan today. He could be out for a while, which is very unfortunate. But he's been a great player, and we have to, he's still a very important player in the dressing room.
Right.
We wish him a speedy recovery, and we believe he's still got a big part to play for this football club in the dressing room to help us lads get over the line.
Okay. And Max Anderson?
Max Anderson is possibly out for another 3 to 4 weeks at the moment.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it, but yeah, it's a knock.
All right. Thank you very much.
Just sorry to add to your question. I mean, that was the whole point of January, was to bolster our squad and sort of build 2 starting 11s. So we have 2 quality players in each position. So that's what we're trying to build. Is when we do have issues like we have backups for those positions, and not only that, we have that spare man in that 21-man squad. So just to carry on that question.
Thank you.
Just following on Theo Vassell, I believe he's only on a 6-month contract. Is there any plans to extend that, given the impact he's had?
Yeah, I mean, he started really well. It's a no-brainer to engage with him. It's something that we can assess in May, I suppose. But he's a great lad, and he's great for the football club, and it's something that we can look at May.
Sounds good. Okay, we've still got a little bit of time. So if you want to put your hands up, I'll try and get round to you. A couple at the front.
Scott alluded to that we're a transfer window ahead in recent interviews. What sort of is your plan in terms of the upcoming transfer window? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
I'll pass you on to Erdem in a minute, but I think that bringing in 13 players in a January transfer window could be a record for this football club. I'm not sure. It could be a record for the EFL. I'm not sure about that either. Bringing in 13 new players gives us a head start, albeit there are a few loans in there. It gives us a head start when we have our season next year. So later on this year. So having players who gel together, who play now and they can carry on for next year, we're looking like we're probably a window ahead. I'll pass you over to Erdem to give you more information on that.
Yeah, I mean, for the transfer window ahead, there are a few loans at the moment, but we have to try to build players that can come in as Plan A and perform immediately. And then you've got your plan Bs, which are the younger assets, and the club to utilise its 2 ESC spots would be, I think it'd be a wise move, because there's a lot of anomalies out there, and the EFL clubs and League Two especially not really utilising that. And that's something I've got a passion for. So hopefully we can go over this immediate task, and after that we plan well, we're planning already, and try to build a squad with longevity. So it's not this ever-changing carousel of 10, 13 players that are continuously happening at the football club. If we can, I mean, you probably need another 10, sorry, but in the summer. But it's, I think after that, hopefully it could be, 3, 4s, that kind of thing every window. And you can, build players with 2-3 year contracts, and you have your older players that understand the culture, understand the league, and then you have your younger players that are coming in, or let's say the assets or the anomalies that come in that can have a huge spike in performance that we've seen before at the football club. So that's the aim of the window ahead, really.
Sorry, just to carry on that as well. I'm a man who likes consistency, so I don't want to be sitting here every window with 15, 20 players in, 15, 20 players out. That's not the goal. If we want to go places, we need a solid base, we need our plan Bs, we need to slowly chip away, couple in, couple out every year, of course, but ultimately we need to create a continuous situation whereby we're not doing what past owners have done or past clubs do, where we're a fully trading club and we're transferring 15 to 20 players each season. Because the Wembley squad was a great squad, and it's a real shame that squad got ripped apart. So fingers crossed we have a similar experience where we get to Wembley and or we get promoted, but we won't be ripping up the squad, we'll just be improving it.
Yeah, hello there. Quite right, it's been, like as has been stated, a massive focus on the next 15 games and making sure that we stay up. And I'm sure everybody in this room clearly, sincerely hopes that happens. However, we can't be naive and pretend that there is a risk of us getting relegated. Should that happen, what is the strategy? Has anyone got any sort of thought or looking ahead at that option? Because, as you said, the last summer was a bit of a disaster. If there's no attention or thought going into every outcome, we could get caught with our pants down again. I'm no historian, but if D-Day didn't succeed, I'm sure the Allies had a plan for what could happen the day after on the 7th of June. Have we got any sort of thoughts about the worst case scenario?
To be completely honest, no. Again, full focus on Saturday, and we'll take it from there.
I think it's very good to be positive, and I'm positive, but I'm probably a little bit more realistic and possibly, arguably, a little bit more measured, because you can't put all your eggs in one basket and not be prepared for what could happen. But that's just my view.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I do think this squad is far too good to be going down. I do think Scott's a manager is far too good to be going down. So, again, all eyes focusing on the next 15 games being cup finals, and we'll take it from there. Erdem, do you have anything else to say?
I mean, of course, it's a discussion that you want to talk about, and I understand that. The only thing I can say is that we have to just fixate on the next 15 games. This club's been a part of my life for 8 years, right? So I also know important people and what people have played roles. One thing I can say is, Raph, as an owner, the club's in secure hands. I'm saying that as a fan. I'm not saying that as a director of football. I'm saying that as a person that loves this football club. I'm not a football mercenary. I only know this football club as an English club that I love. So I don't want to think about that scenario, but what I can tell you, and I wholeheartedly believe, the club's in great hands, and that's what you need to believe as well. But we just, as a football club, from top to bottom, the only thing that we should be fixating on is Tranmere away. We're in great hands with a manager who's taken this club and created one of the best memories. He's a meticulous manager. He works very hard. So we just have to go to Tranmere, hopefully get some points, go to MK, and just keep going, because that we have to fixate on the 15 games. We're in a war, and we have to win the war. And I don't want to think about any other scenario.
Okay, fair enough. I think that is naive. I just want some reassurance that should it go wrong, are we still going to be in safe hands in the worst case scenario?
I mean, I think Erdem answered that question. I'm not jumping ship. This is my club for at least the next 5 to 10 years. So no matter where we are, what we do, I'll still be here. And worst case scenario, if anything does happen, we'll work our hardest to get back up.
All right, thank you.
Just one player I don't think we've seen play from the 13 signings, and that's Justin Ferizaj. When can we see him playing in a Crawley shirt, please?
Hopefully very soon. I don't want to say anything, but hopefully we'll see him soon. He's a bright prospect.
Thank you. So we're getting to that time. We can take a few more questions. Has anyone got? Oh, no. I'll come to you straight after.
Erdem, you mentioned the 2 ESL slots. For those who don't know, what does that mean? And also, my son hasn't got the courage to ask, but he always asks me on the match day, why does sometimes we need 6 subs and then sometimes we need 7? Is that linked to the ESL situation?
ESC. ESC.
ESC.
So the
Sorry.
ESC's after Brexit, it was harder. If you remember, we used to get NCOs and those type of players. So when Brexit came along, we couldn't get those players anymore. So the FA introduced this ESC wildcard system. So basically now the filter to bring in players is, for example, one player who's played, I don't know, in one appearance in the Copa Libertadores or Sudamericana, he straight away qualifies to get a permit to play here. So this is the first time in English football history that this type of opportunities arisen. So therefore, it's a very interesting opportunity because you can find real wildcards. There are some, like for example, some players, I think Huddersfield got a boy from Serbia, the Serbian striker that was playing in Helsinki. He's done pretty well. There's various players that have come through the ESC slots. There's a lad that's just gone to Charlton, the Kenyan defender from Serbia. So we have to go out there and try and find great value for money that can immediately affect our first 11. That's what you have to use the ESC slots. That's my idea. Like there's for example, you know, you can get for $2,500 a week, you can get a very good striker at this level, but maybe for $2,500 a week from South America or Africa, you can find potentially a Premier League player. So that's something we need to work hard on to try and find those anomalies and bring them in, because they can really change the fortunes of the football club on the pitch and financially, and potentially break the transfer record. Regarding the 6 and 7, it's because it's the homegrown status. So you need players that have been here since the age of 17 for more than 2 years to make the 7th man on the bench. Because we don't have that. On January it was 7 because for the January window that goes out, for the January period that goes out the window. So now we're back to that system, so we're back to 6.
I know it was before your time, so would Benjamin Tanamu be classed as an ESC player?
Yeah.
As an example?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you.
Hi guys, thanks very much, like I said, for all that you do for the club. It's a tremendous surge of emotion going forwards at the moment, going up and down, up and down, up and down. You say you signed 13 players during the, it'd be nice if it was strikers, 13 players during the window, and it's never been done before, and there's a reason why it's never been done before. It's really difficult to get those players to gel in such a short period because, as Erdem suggested, they got to hit the ground running. It's going to take time. It's not going to come together, and the one luxury we don't have at the moment is time, as you keep alluding to, 15 games. You're going to find great players, you're going to who hit the ground running straight away, some that are not. I think it's really important to emphasise the positives here. The goalkeeper is just absurd, okay? I do not know how much it would cost to get in, but I'd sell a kidney to get that lad playing here forever. And the other one is you need to go back to Belfast today, okay, to find the next one, because that Johnny Russell, or what's his name? Johnny Russell? He is a beast, and he could be here tearing the place to pieces for 10 years. And if you can find players half as good as him, then the future is very safe. I'm very confident that everything will be right at the end of the season. I don't think we're going to, tear up any trees, but we won't go down. It will happen. It will come together. And just the fact that we've got stability during the summer and we haven't got 10 players going out, I think that will be worth a great deal. If Scott can be given the luxury of a close season with what he's got to bring it all together, and some of the players that the team has brought in together, I really do think it'll go great guns next year. Thanks very much for all you do.
Thank you for your positivity. I appreciate it. Thank you for being a strong fan. Just to quickly touch on your 13-14 man, it's not usually done before, right? I think you also have to keep in mind that we brought back 3 or 4 players from our Wembley promotion season, right? So if you actually look at it from new random players coming in, it's 8 or 9. So that was one of our strategies, was if we're going to bring in that amount of players, let's bring in players who already know Scott, who have played at Wembley for us, who scored a goal at Wembley for us and got us promoted. So it sounds a little bit crazy, but ultimately that was the thought process behind it, that we were bringing in guys who already knew the manager at the club and were successful at the club. But I'll pass you over to Erdem to answer your question on that.
No, thank you for what you said, and hopefully the lads that have come in, they will gel quickly. And I agree with Raph what he's saying. We brought people that are familiar faces that understand the fabric of the club and what this club means, and they've served the club. They've created their greatest legacies here. So in a way, they've come back to recreate their legacies again, and there's familiarity with the manager, familiarity with the system that they're playing in. So you're not just bringing in people that don't know what's going on. At the same time, we felt it was needed, because if you look at, I think it's 4 wins out of 27 at the first 27 games. So the January 1st, you can't really bring anyone in. We brought in 2 players by then, but we've basically completed the business by Notts County, let's say. The aim was to finish as quickly as possible, not to drag it out. So the new boys, so if you look at that, 4 wins out of 27, I feel there was a need to bring in this type of number to give us that chance, because ultimately 4 wins out of 27 isn't good enough. Now, that's not saying ill of the past or what's happened, but we just have to look at the task at hand. And I feel we've started okay. I know we've had a bad 2 results, that happens, but before then we've got 3 clean sheets in a row. We've got 2 ugly wins. There's I don't think we've played pretty football, but we've certainly gained character. To go to Barrow and to get 3 points, the goalkeeper's kicked it out and it's gone for a corner. That's how the wins are, right? And it's not the easiest place to go as a mental challenge. I think we showed good character against Harrogate as well. Should have beaten Walsall, but we didn't. So we just got to regain that character with this new group. And sorry to keep repeating myself, but just go back into these 15 games, because it's our war and we need to win this war.
And I also think it's one of those things where if you look at our 3-game clean sheet, our 3 sort of session clean sheet, in a week and a half from now, we could be in a completely different situation, right? Get 2-3 results in a row and we're sitting 12-13 point clear from the bottom. So let's all be positive, let's be a unit together, let's go strong, and hopefully, fingers crossed, get ourselves out of this.
Nice, we'll take 2 or 3 more questions. Gentleman at the back. No trouble.
I think we're a little bit disappointed Sky hasn't turned up tonight. You say about the players you've signed. Scott's been very itchy on the sidelines lately. He's been snapping at a few fans and whatnot. Is that included on the pressure that's put on him, or is that why he's not here tonight at all, because of some of the indications he's had with the fans?
No, so it was my call for Scott not to come today. He travels tomorrow early in the morning to Tranmere, so the turnaround was very, very tight. Scott loves the fans, he says it all the time, and we love Scott. So no, it was purely my decision. I think that's the best decision for the club, for him to focus fully on Tranmere and not focus on anything else. We don't need any distractions. Let's just stay as a unit together and get that win on Saturday.
Well, we do try. I sit in a triangle of fans that are probably. I'm a new Crawley fan. I love Crawley. Crawley has just sort of taken over my life for the last few years.
Tell me about it, mate.
It's a nightmare. But I sit in a triangle with fans. Sam's one of them, and they are so passionate about this club. It's unreal. But it's just a bit upsetting to see Scott snapping at fans. I don't think it's a good attitude for the manager to do.
I hear you. And I'm not saying I disagree with you, but at the same time, you also, we're in football, right? It's a very passionate sport. And I'd much prefer to have a manager who's passionate, who cares, who loves the club. Now, I'm not saying anything's right or wrong. You know, you got fans harassing players and harassing managers. That's not good either, right? So on both sides, I don't support any, you know, ill language at all.
I don't think he's sworn at people. I think he's just told people to shut up.
Yeah, and I think that he needs your guys' support, but ultimately, again, I would prefer to have that than Lemon sitting on the bench, to be honest with you. I'd like to have someone who really, really cares about
the jacket he was wearing on Saturday was pretty lemonish. I'm glad he changed it for Tuesday.
I hear you. He's a very passionate man. He works extremely hard.
No, we love it. Personally, I think he's a great guy. I mean, I'm just gutted his Porsche ain't outside tonight, to be honest with you.
It's a nice one, that one.
Nice, ridiculous.
No, he loves you guys, and fingers crossed we get the result.
All right, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Any more questions?
It was just if you could tell us any more about the plans for the training facilities, not just from a point of view for obviously the fact the players need somewhere good to train, but from a point of view of sort of the club has, like you say, there's no reserves, there's no B team, there's no academy, there's not sort of that. For me, it's a small club. They need to be looking at revenue streams, from everywhere to try and make money, because it's not like there's that many people coming on a Saturday that the club's making a lot of money. But the fact that there's no sort of academy, no sort of, if you look at, say, Peterborough, the amount of young players that they've developed and sold and how much money they make from that. You've got Brighton down the road, where I'm sure there must be a lot of young players that don't quite make it. They're not, they're not good enough for Brighton, but could they be doing a job in League Two? But because there's no trainings, there's no facilities for them. You can't have an academy because you don't have the infrastructure. So it's sort of developing a training centre, something that's
in
your plans.
Yeah, so I actually met with Tony Bloom multiple times regarding what you're saying. And that's why when I talk about building a sustainable club, we need that infrastructure, right? I've been involved for 6 months now. So we're in active talks with the University of Sussex. We've already invested, a small fortune into the facilities. We are looking to build a 20 to 30 year relationship with the university, with multiple pitches, with buildings. So ultimately, yes, that's where we're going to get. It's been 6 months in my tenure, so we need a bit of time. But
of course.
But 100%. I mean, we'd be stupid not to look at young talent like we've already brought in, as you can see, and have please God, 15, 20, 17, 18, 19-year-olds who we believe could break into the first team and or do well and then trade. So 100% we're looking at that. I'd love to have a Cat 1 academy. We'll start with the Cat 3 academy at some point. Let's walk before we can run. But 100% that is in our plan, and that's where ultimately I want to take Crawley. When I looked at Crawley to take over, it is a club which is a white canvas, right? It hasn't got the infrastructure anywhere. So that was part of the challenge. I love a challenge. I'm looking forward to building out those sort of things. It will take time. Rome wasn't built overnight, but I think judge me in 5 years. We'll see where we get. But I'll pass you over to Natasha a little bit as well.
So the questions about training facilities and
it's just, I don't know. You'd think, I know you're saying, I suppose that the infrastructure is already partly there, down at the university, but would it not be sort of better to do it here in Crawley? That's sort of more opportunities for local people. We've got people working there. There must be a lot of, I don't know, the community foundation have their like elite and development sort of centre, and then they have the 16 to 19-year-old program, but then there's nothing after that. So would it not be?
I mean, it's 20, 25 minutes from us, right?
Yeah.
Not so far. But listen, we're in active talks with them. Let's see how it goes. Would I like to have it across the road? Of course I would. We're in active discussions. Let's see how it goes. We'll give you updates in the next couple of months. We'll take it from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll come down the phone.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me? I first saw Crawley Town play in 1959. So I've seen hundreds of players and dozens of managers. and I think that Scott Lindsay is doing a brilliant job. If it had been any other club in of the 92 teams where the manager's team is sitting 20th, he would have been sacked. I've never once heard the supporters chanting for our manager to be sacked. So I am a little concerned when Scott, in his interviews, says, I need the fans to get behind the team. We all want to get behind the team. We do it every single home match. We give the manager tremendous support. We are disappointed as much as what he is, but he is able to say on his interviews, the team's not good enough, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. And yet when one or two supporters voice their opinions, he's critical of them. Everybody is supporting the manager. I'm certain that we will end up surviving by hook or by crook, and for that we're very grateful. But I just wish that he recognises the supporters. Of course he does. Every time, every home match, he comes down and he speaks to the supporters. But I just feel a little niggled when he says, you've all got to get behind the club, because 99% of the people are behind the club.
I hear you. Sorry, when did you say it was your first game? 1959?
1959.
That's incredible. What a fan. Firstly, thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause for that. Appreciate you a lot. And I hear you. And I know Scott knows you are behind him. And the fans are behind him. And let's just again stick together and keep on going.
Okay, last couple of questions.
Hi there, my name's Richard. Well done, guys, for the job you've done so far at the club. Regarding re-signing 4 of the Wembley winning squad, Lolos and Darcy are both on loan. What's the possibilities of them being made permanent signings?
Yeah, there are possibilities. We can visit that in the summer. I can't say it's guaranteed or nailed on. Obviously, they're contracted to other clubs, and it's all dependent on what they would command, both as a transfer fee and also as players. But it's definitely in the thinking of the club.
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Thanks.
Raphael wants to put you on the spot. There's probably going to be 30 of us make up to Tranmere on Saturday. Will you buy us a pint each?
No. Why 2?
I'll pay and I'll bring you the bill.
I'll say there's going to be more than 30 of us up there. There's already 39 on the coach.
Make it 3. Let's get smashed. Come on then.
Yeah, Tom, put me down for Tranmere. Any more questions? Any more questions? No? I mean, I'll summarise. Look, I think everyone knows this. The football clubs are nothing without their supporters, and I think we've got a fantastic base of you, and thank you all so much for coming out tonight. This club is unique and like no other. I think that's alongside the hard work of Erdem and Lewis, the reason why Scott was so happy to come back, and a lot of familiar faces have come back in this transfer window. Couple that with the fact that Tom started as an intern and is now a fully deserved CEO of this football club. He's been here for a long time, as have a lot of the members of staff here, and I think that speaks volumes for what a wonderful place this is to be. Look, there's things that are always going to change and evolve, and we know that there's improvements that have got to be made, but I can assure you that behind the scenes, these guys are working incredibly hard. We all are, and this season, it's been a tough one, but we certainly are looking to build on what we've got now and put in the fight that you guys are after. Raf, do you want to conclude?
Thank you everyone for coming. It's been a pleasure. I love constructive criticism. We're going to do everything we can, fight tooth and nail. With you guys behind us, fingers crossed we'll be all right. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate you all.